record. It's recording. It's happening. This is a thing. Okay.
This is the thing. We're doing it.
It's happening. All right. So now I click on this link. Where'd you go? Liz? I feel like there's a meme in here somewhere, like, how long does it take two chicks to start a podcast? When mostly it's one chick's fault.
No. Hello. How is that?
Right. I think that kind of works.
Yeah, it sounds good on my end.
Okay. Awesome.
Cool. All right. Ready to get started?
Sure. Do it.
Hi, Morgan. How are you?
Hi, Liz. I'm good. How are you?
I am so great. I'm so happy that you're here. Thank you for coming and being a guest on Real Talk Redhead. I'm so happy that you wanted to come chat with me today.
Well, I really appreciate you having me. And again, let me preface, this is my first time doing a podcast ever. So we've already hopefully had all of our technical difficulties, but you know, if I'm doing it wrong, let me know.
Absolutely. No, it sounds great. I think it looks great so far. I guess we'll find out at the end how it turned out. But
all right, yes.
I think we're doing good. So
the proof is in the podcast, as they say.
Good. I like it. We're making t-shirts. So I already told everybody that basically who you are, that you own Beyond the Trend, and that I interned for you at the end of 2018, and that you have some really exciting goals for the rest of 2020. So I figured I would start off by you just kind of introducing yourself and telling everybody who you are, how you started Beyond the Trend, and anything else you want to let us know.
So much pressure. Okay, so hi everybody again. My name is Morgen Reynolds, and I was actually born and raised in Chicago, Illinois, and only moved to Florida 7 years ago, I want to say, right after I got married. And this is our 7-year anniversary coming up in November. So yes, I guess that makes sense. And yeah, so I've been doing marketing consulting for a long time. I started freelance marketing in Chicago. And then when I got married and moved down here, I was still doing a little freelance work here and there. But when we settled here in Vero Beach, after about a year of being here, I decided I really missed being a part of a team. I love collaborating with other people. I felt like I could serve my clients better if we had an actual agency and were able to kind of provide them with more services. So I incorporated Beyond the Trend, and then found this office space here, and then had to flee the city because Hurricane Irma. So South Florida problem.
For sure.
And also my husband always reminds me that, you know, we face tougher things than this, whatever we're going through, because when we came back from Hurricane Irma, our rental house was on like the very edge of the power grid. So we didn't get power restored for like a full week after the hurricane. And it was so hot and humid. So we actually came and slept nights on the floor here in the office just to like get a break, because the office had power and air conditioning.
Oh my gosh, I had no idea. I never heard that story.
Oh yeah. So anyways, it's a full service agency, you know.
Yes.
It's a cash pad, it's a marketing, you know, agency. It's fine. We do all the things here. So
room and board, the whole nine.
I know, yeah. So anyway, I've got a couple of other women who work full time with me, and we do all things digital marketing, but we do, of course, still design things for print when our clients need something print, something to hand out. Mm-hmm. And on the one hand, everyone's like, oh, digital marketing, you must have made out like a banshee because of COVID. And I'm like, well, yes, we are doing better than a lot of businesses because there's definitely a very apparent need for the services that we provide, but it definitely wasn't a walk in the park for us either. You know, we had a lot of clients that really were struggling, so they had to defer payment or cancel payments so that they could kind of figure out what they were doing. And of course, we wanted to be as understanding as possible and still work with them. We weren't going to just abandon updating a website or helping them set up Zoom appointments because, you know, they weren't flush with cash at the moment, because, you know, our goal always is to see businesses win. So kind of, we pushed ourselves as hard as we could, and there was kind of a lot of late nights and working through weekends, like hunched up at our kitchen tables trying to keep everything going. So I feel very fortunate and very blessed that I'm in a profession that right now is needed, but at the same time, I can empathize and understand some of the struggle that a lot of business owners and just the average everyday citizen, whether it's losing a job, not having a great work from home environment, trying to figure out what to do with your kids during this time. One of my employees has a 9-year-old, you know, Sadie. So,
oh, yeah, love Sadie.
Yeah, so she's still working from home now because there's been no summer camps, no aftercare, no, you know, the school system is kind of a whole, we don't quite know what's going to happen type of thing.
Oh, yeah.
So anyway, we're kind of having to roll with the punches too. And that's kind of what gave me the idea, me personally, for the Step Up September Challenge, which is what we're doing now at beyondthetrend.com. So
I love it. Yeah, definitely tell us more about like what you have planned and exactly what it is and like how people can sign up. I just want to let everyone know that everything we talk about today, the Beyond the Trend website, Instagram, all that stuff, I'm going to put it in the description of this podcast, and I'm going to share it all over the place on Instagram. So if you guys are interested in joining once we're all done, you know where to go to get those links. So
you see how on top of it Liz is? This is why she was like the best intern we've ever had. So
yeah.
I mean,
I only learned from you guys.
Out. I mean,
yes, ma'am. On my way.
Just ride into the rescue. Perfect.
Yep.
Yeah, so I literally was going on a walk myself because kind of with all of the extra hours, and Liz and I were just talking about before the podcast, me like losing all posture and back muscle because I've just been like crunched over my computer for the last like 6 months. But I was saying, you know, I might as well go ahead and start figuring out how to fit a little bit better healthcare into my schedule. And people who know me know that I also have an autoimmune disorder, and I've had kind of a whole series of different like health issues over the years that I've had to learn to kind of work around and live with and through and everything. So I was out for a walk, you know, doing some like super intense like power walking because that's like my heavy duty cardio. So all you marathoners out there, don't mock me. But anyway, and I was like, you know, Morgan, you should really like, it's about to be a new month. August is almost over. Where did the year go? Also, I get kind of like nostalgic this time of year because my birthday is in December. So like end of the year, and then I'm going to be that much older, and how many gray hairs do I have now? And what have I done with my life? So like I feel like that's very common for, I don't know if guys do this as much. Maybe they do it more in their 40s when they hit their like midlife crisis. But I feel like a lot of the women, especially that I talk to, are kind of going through that, where they're starting to count their birthdays and they're starting to kind of evaluate, what have I accomplished? What have I achieved? Am I hitting my goal? And it's so overwhelming, right? Because like if you start to like go down that funnel, you can spiral really, really quickly and start to feel really, really bad about yourself.
100%. I have a couple episodes where I've talked to everyone about, you know, all the coulda, woulda, shouldas. And as every day goes by, you're looking back like, where did it all go?
No, I know it is. It's so hard. And it really takes kind of a good support system. And interesting tidbit. Did you know that women use 3 to 5 times as many words in a day as men do?
I did not know that, but I totally believe it because I could talk a lot. I have a lot that I can say.
Me too. All of our men folk are like, oh my gosh, yes. Can she ever?
Is that it? Just 3 to 5 times more?
I know, right? Maybe it's a lot higher, but I think our average is like, I don't want to quote it wrong, but maybe we'll add that in the link or we'll share it somewhere on our social media. Anyway, the point is, it's important to be able to find people that you can talk to and kind of unpack that stuff with. And it's also, I know this is something you talk about a lot on your social media and it encourages me, but find small ways, small actionable ways to take some steps to make some progress in whatever it is that you're doing, whether that's just taking care of yourself, taking care of your family, taking care of your relationships, taking care of your business, taking care of your finances. And if you kind of talk yourself down from the ledge and remind yourself that any step I take today is a step further than I was yesterday, then maybe you can talk yourself into feeling better about those small little steps that you're taking. So that's what I was telling myself on this walk. I was having this very long conversation in my head about that for September, why don't I step it up? Why don't I kind of get back to cooking a healthy menu at home, get back to a little bit more regular eating and workout schedule, schedule in some breaks, schedule in some extra work time. But also I made a commitment, just for me personally, one of my goals is to work every Saturday in September, because we have had an opportunity to do some traveling. We've had some family visit over the last month or so. So I feel like, okay, you had a little bit of a breather. It's time to buckle down and, kind of get back into your work groove so that you can really build some momentum kind of before the holidays.
Yeah.
So that's where the idea came from. I was telling myself to step up for the month of September. And then I was like, oh, step up September. That's kind of cute. And then I was like, oh, well, maybe we should just, post some fun motivational stuff for people and just some little encouraging ideas to give people some little bite-sized daily goals, little things that you can actually finish today, right? If your goal is to go for one walk a week, right? Today I could accomplish that goal. Instead of telling yourself okay, you need to work out for an hour every single day and it has to be before work, otherwise you're a complete failure and your life is over.
Oh my gosh, you're in my head.
What we're trying not to do with the challenge is what are some small manageable things that you can do, or grocery shop for the week. And then hey, if you end up eating out or not making everything on your meal plan, that's okay. But you did the grocery shopping, the food is in the fridge. If you have time, if you have the energy, you can go home and make yourself a healthy meal. So
absolutely. I love that so much. A lot of us it's just like you said, we have this kind of mental to-do list of everything that we need to get done and we have to get done. If we haven't crossed everything off every day, all the time, we've failed ourselves. And I think it's important to remember that every tiny little step is still a step towards so much more, even if you don't realize it. I used the analogy the other day that let's say you've been thinking about, oh, I got to clean out the fridge for 2 months. You're I really need to clean out the fridge. It's been bothering me, blah, 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 blah. And then you finally go and do it. And that is one less thing on your stress radar that you might not have even known was stressing you out. It may not seem like an accomplishment to you, but the tiniest things can make a huge impact, especially over time. So I really love that you're doing this. I think people need a community and motivation to help them.
Well, we all do, right? We all need some people to encourage us, and we're trying to kind of cover several different bases. And we have a lot of high ambitions and goals to accomplish this month. We probably will not achieve all of them, but we are trying to post some helpful advice in terms of actual goal setting. So we did a post about SMART goals. What are SMART goals? And yes, it's kind of rudimentary and basic, but are your goals actually measurable? Are you actually breaking down your goals into something that you can check off the list in a reasonable way? Not just finish this project. Okay, what's the next step in the project? Do you have to go to Michael's and get something? Do you have to go to Walmart and get something? Do you have to clean something else first before you can get to the back of whatever closet you're trying to get into, So I've been trying to train myself to really break down every goal into those little actionable line items so I can really see the progress that we're making. And that helps me in business too, when we're working on different projects for clients, to be able to say, these were all the steps that it took to get to here. So, that way we can show the client our work, but then also the next time we bid on a project like that, we have an even better understanding of some of the glitches that can come up, some of the things you have to overcome. And I think we have this misconception that if life is hard, we're doing it wrong.
Right. I love that. I don't love that. It's awful to feel that way, but I love that you said that, because I think a lot of people don't realize that hard work is a part of life, and there's we're human beings, and there's days that we're going to experience things that are not fun and happy. And
Mm,
I think that means we're doing it right. I think that means
mm.
that we're, overcoming obstacles. We're realizing things about ourselves. We're able to kind of reorganize our priorities and be like, what, what's really the biggest goal here? If this is making
Mm.
me feel this way, does that mean that I care about it and that I'm passionate about it? Or does that mean that it's toxic for me? And maybe I need to look at a different, route.
Right. And I think there can be hard things that in the long run are fulfilling. So then, like, it's worth it. But then there are hard things that, like you said, maybe they're hard for a reason, and maybe there does need to be some changes made. But yeah, I think sometimes some of those gurus on the internet go around trying to act like, oh yeah, if you're struggling to like make a ton of money, you're doing it wrong. Like it's so easy. What are you thinking? Like you should only be spending half an hour a week working. Like
Oh my gosh. I
you're
know.
obviously just not that bright. Like I have
Yeah.
the perfect solution. It's only $1,999.99 today.
Yeah.
So anyways, I'm super not knocking gurus that work hard out there, but I agree. I think life takes hard work. And I think, unfortunately, we do live in kind of a broken world. It will never be a utopia. And things happen that aren't out of our control. And like this pandemic, and I hear so much that people just kind of fall into this pit of like, every little bad thing that happens, it's like, it's 2020.
Yeah.
And I do
Everything in
think
2020.
just blame everything on 2020. Well, what are we going to do next year when it's 2021 and something not great happens, right? Are we just going to like throw the whole decade out and be like, the 2020s were like the worst. I do think one of the things that is important to talk about, and I know you can probably share more on this than I can, but the hold that social media and news and just the general barrage of information has on us can make everything seem so much worse. And it's important to be informed and to kind of understand globally what's happening in our world, but like you can't be controlled by things that you can't control, right?
Absolutely. 100%.
So I don't know, are there some things that you kind of have been working on or talking to people about in terms of being able to mentally distance yourself from some of that like super negative information and energy that is always super available?
Yeah, well, I love that you were bringing this up because my very last episode, when I talked about coping for people who are empaths, is I talk a lot about that. In the beginning of the pandemic, in March and in April, and with just everything else that's happening in the world, I found myself obsessive over watching the news and reading Facebook of all things, which I look back and I'm like, really, you really allowed Facebook to like take over? But it did. Everything that I read, I was reading all the negative comments. I was just obsessed. And part of it was as I get older, I feel more and more of a responsibility to be, as you said, knowledgeable of current events. But one of the things that I shared that I think is really helpful for people who are like that, they're like, I don't know where to go, especially because, like you said, there is an overwhelming amount of information out there, is to spend a little bit of time finding the most, I'm trying to think of the like factual information that you can. Find news sources that are factual and they're not throwing out these like, emotionally triggering buzzwords and whatnot. They're just there to get at your heartstrings instead of telling you what the facts are. And if you have to, schedule actual like news time in your day. You wake up in the morning and you immediately take to Facebook or whatever your scroll, give yourself 30 minutes, set an alarm, read whatever news source that you feel is going to benefit you, and then turn it off. You won't miss enough to matter in the time that you will miss your sanity if you don't do it that way. And something else that has also helped me is to make sure that we are reading good news. So have you seen some good news that John Krasinski created?
Oh my gosh, I'm obsessed. And why is he no longer on it?
I know. So he has, I guess, like made a deal with NBC, I think, or CBS, one of the two, and they're going to
That man
create
is
like an
seriously
entire show
so
around it.
brilliant. I can't even.
And
Yeah.
beautiful, I have to say.
No, he really is. It's
But
kind of unfair to put so many good things all in one person. But
it
continue
truly
with
is.
your
But
point.
yes, watching things like that. There's another one where I think it's called like Good News Now. There are several
Mm,
websites out there and places that you can go where you can just like read good news, good things that are happening. I think it's very easy to forget that there
mhm.
still are very good people out there, very good things that are happening. And so balance is like probably the key when it comes to what we're
Yeah.
talking about here, which is
Mhm.
not allowing the sheer volume of information to overwhelm you, but to balance yourself with it, and then decide if some of these really crappy things that are bothering you are things that we can do something about. Decide
Mhm.
what is that for you. Is that just simply like sharing on your platform so that you can shine lights on things? Do you want to donate to a charity? Do you want to physically like go out and donate some of your time? I mean, don't feel obligated to do any of it, but if you feel like you want to do something, find what works best for you, you know.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, that's such great advice to kind of filter through and decide what are the things that I am most passionate about, and then find some actionable steps to take that make you feel like you're a part of the solution, perhaps, rather than the problem. And I also think what you said about just giving yourself a little perspective too is really good. Like if you're, like you said, just going straight to Facebook and consuming whatever people give you, we do have the power over which accounts that we get to follow. And we do, you can spend a little time. I have a lot of friends who get so frustrated with Facebook because they're still following people that they've grown out of, you know? And I think
yes,
at some point it's okay to wish your friends from high school well, but not follow their feed anymore.
yeah.
Just unfollow them. Facebook has that great tool. It's called unfollow. Facebook also has a great tool called See First. I don't know if anybody out there uses that, but I flag some of my favorite things and then I get to see those posts first in my feed. So that always puts me in a little bit better mood. And I find that to be a little bit encouraging, like, oh, there's good people and good things happening before I scroll down and see somebody complaining about whatever type of thing.
Yeah, I love that you said that because I know that that's a thing and I completely forgot to actually use it. So I'm actually going to use that tool. I've removed myself from Facebook a lot since then because I know that I just can't. It's like a train wreck. I just can't look away. But I don't want to get rid of it.
For so many people, you're not the only one.
I know. Well, and none of us want to get rid of it because how are we going to know when it's your birthday?
Well, my gosh, don't even get me started on the birthday situation.
Tell me about it. I know. So, yes, thank you for reminding me of that tool. I think a lot of people could benefit from it.
Yeah. And then the other thing kind of with the Step Up September challenge that I want to encourage people to get in the habit of, that I'm trying to get in the habit of, is as your goals and needs are changing, again, it's okay to shift what you're consuming, you know? And so, for example, the topics that we're trying to cover and disseminate kind of information on for September is business goals, financial goals, health goals, and kind of mental or spiritual wellness, kind of whatever works for you. So let's say that you're like, okay, the health is kind of under control. I feel good. I've been walking a lot because quarantine or whatever, but financial, obviously not in a great situation because maybe work has been gone or stopped or on pause, or your boss has cut back or whatever. So how can I focus on my finances? And so then take an afternoon, instead of just scrolling through your Instagram feed and getting distracted by, again, what people are trying to give you, intentionally search for and look for people who are talking about ways to make some quick cash, ways to pivot your skill set, other people who are in the industry that you're in, what are they talking about? What resources have they found? And you might have to dig a little bit, but it's definitely worth it. And it's amazing. Like I always say, energy begets energy. So where you're putting your energy, even if you feel like maybe all I'm doing is kind of like looking up new Instagrammers or whatever,
Right.
Eventually, if you are devoting your energy to learning about something new or something that is going to benefit you, that energy is going to turn into something. Maybe you'll, comment something on a post, and then somebody else in the comments will notice you, and then they'll come check out your feed, and then you guys will become friends. You just never know. You kind of have to just keep putting yourself out there. And again, that's why I think Step Up September is important for me and for some of the people that I know, because if we just threw 2020 out and said, well, this has been the worst year ever known to mankind, I'm over it, I'm done, I'm just gonna bury myself in a hole until then you miss out on the opportunity to kind of start setting yourself up for a better 2021 now by doing some of that research, by making some of those little inroads. In fact, I had kind of a cool story the other day happen that I was going to share. And of course, I don't even have the details of it. I might have it in my notes. But the point is that I am always shocked, because little small conversations that I've had with people over time, you never know where they're going to lead, or you never know where a little investment of your time is going to blossom into. Oh, I remember. So I was talking to I don't want to give away too much information. I was talking to a business person here in town, and they invited me to go to a lunch. And then that lunch with one of his colleagues led to meeting with that colleague and some of his colleagues. And then we actually were negotiating a contract, and it ended up never coming to fruition. And it was kind of frustrating, but life goes on. We have other clients. It's fine. It's all good. And then now that was right when I first started. So it's got to be close to 3 years now later.
Okay.
One of the people at maybe the third lunch into this story that I'm really telling horribly, and I apologize. No. So one of these lunches that we somehow kind of popped up in each other's Facebook feed again, type of thing. And so I kind of was aware of this person again, and then had a new project come up where I felt like this person would be a good fit, or could speak into it, or could be helpful, or whatever. And now we actually have something on the books to work together. And that was a 3-year kind of thing that you just would never know. And that's one of the things that still gets me up in the morning, is that life really can surprise you. You really, no matter how dour you think things are, you just never know when something cool might happen. But you have to kind of keep showing up and keep being there and keep making yourself available for things,
Absolutely. That was very inspirational. It got me in my feels for sure, because literally that's something that I know and yet have a hard time remembering for myself sometimes. There's a lot of times where I have goals or plans for something. And I think we've talked about this just in normal conversation, that, I kind of get down on myself that I haven't gotten this achieved, or I feel this isn't working out well, or so on and so forth. And I forget that I can think of several examples, identical to what you just used, of something that just seemed awful and was well, that was a waste of time, that has blossomed into something huge, or something that I was terrified of and didn't think I was good at, or, figured that nobody really cared what I had to say. And, weeks and weeks and weeks later, something pops up on my feed where it's hey, I just heard this awesome podcast, or hey, I just spoke to somebody who knows Real Talk Redhead and learned a lot about myself and how to that, and it's the absolute truth. There's so many times where things aren't always what they seem, and sometimes that's in a majorly beneficial way to us. Nothing is a failure. It's just a different way of doing things. Or I've used this example before, and I really need to find the actual quote, but I think it's Benjamin Franklin that was it took him 3,000 times before he figured out the light bulb. And it's I didn't fail. Thomas Edison. Mm-hmm. I didn't fail. I just found 2,999 ways that it didn't work.
Yeah.
And
no, exactly.
You can't figure out what's going to work for you until you just start doing stuff. And then like throw darts at a dartboard and see what sticks, you know?
Right. There really is no one way of doing things that's going to work for everybody in any situation, whether that's the diet that you eat or the faith that you practice or, you know, your journey to find the person of your dreams and, you know, settle down and start a family or whatever. Like you could never compare two stories and they would be identical. And if you took two people and said, both of you take all these identical steps in life, their journeys would still end up being as unique as they are. So if you give yourself a break, again, we're in this comparing culture because everything is public on social media. You can't ever say that, oh, because this person is doing their journey this way and I'm trying to take those same steps and I'm not there yet, you know, I'm doing it wrong. You're just doing it your way. In fact, there's actually a Bible verse that I feel like I never understood until like this last year. And I, of course, don't remember the reference, but it's in Psalms and it says, or maybe Proverbs, anyway, it's one of those wisdom books. And it says, a man chooses his path in his heart, but the Lord determines his steps. So I would always like ask growing up, I was like, that doesn't make any sense. So who's actually in charge? Like God,
I don't get it.
Who is making the calls here? Like,
I love it.
And so I think I finally kind of, to me, it made sense to understand that like, I can decide, like, I don't think that God predetermines what you're going to do in life. Like, I think we really do get to choose, like, I want to be, the thing that gives me the most joy is to run a marketing agency, which sounds cheesy, but it does. Like, I really do love what I'm doing. And I'm so incredibly grateful that I'm doing it. That doesn't mean that it's easy. And my dream 3 years ago when I started this, I imagined the journey being very different. So I feel like you can kind of decide what the destination is and where you want to go, and you can pick your path or your journey or your destination or your direction. But then God / your choices / whatever you believe about it, the little steps to getting to that destination may not always be in your control or end up looking the way that you want them to.
That I could not agree with you more. It's something that I finally started learning recently. I mean, I'm about to be 35 years old and I'm just now finally getting what this means is that, you know, I keep saying, coulda, woulda, shoulda, I wish that I had done things this way. I wish I would have learned this by now, so on and so forth, you know, and you have goals in your mind and they don't always turn out that way, but maybe just broaden your horizon a little bit more and think like, this is the goal. And I thought I was going to get to it on this path, but there was this other path that took me like the long scenic route around and I still got to that goal. You know what I mean? If your goal isn't going the same way, that doesn't mean that, or if your path isn't going the same way as you thought it was, it doesn't mean that the destination isn't the same.
Right.
Really
you couldn't still end up there. Yeah. Like actually, if you need a little encouragement on this particular topic, people should watch that like crazy survivor race Fiji that like Bear Grylls just hosted on Amazon.
Oh, okay.
Did you see this?
No, I didn't. I haven't heard of that.
Yeah, I think it's on Amazon right now or something that you can watch for free with Prime. But Bear Grylls is the host, but it's like the Amazing Race, but it's not celebrities or anything. It's an endurance race that anybody can sign up for. You probably have to pre-qualify, and you run the race in teams of 4, and you have to boat, swim, trek through jungles, build rafts, raft down rivers on bamboo rafts, and then like climb through more jungle, and then like do more like mountain biking, and sometimes ride donkeys, and you cross the island of Fiji, the entire island.
Mm-hmm.
And it takes between like 4 and 11 days with what you can like carry on your back. And there's like a few rest stops or whatever. But like the teams have carte blanche to figure out how they're going to do stuff, you know, like there's some rules in place, but so there were teams that were, you know, like trying to like push through and hike through the night in the jungle, and they had like all their tracking gear and they were like ready to like figure it out. And then there were other teams that wanted to like rest at night because they had like older members on the team that they wanted to like give a break to, and that was more important than pushing through. And then they would try to like make up time the next morning. And then you could also choose to have locals help you build your raft for the river, or you could like do it yourself. And I think you had to like pay the locals or something. So kind of like choose your own adventure, but literally life is like that too, right? Like there's many ways to get across the island of Fiji, and they all eventually ended up on the other shoreline. A couple of people had to be choppered out, but that happened.
Oh, no.
It was so crazy. I was like, why would you do this to yourself? But I understand it's like that excitement of challenging yourself. And if we kind of looked at life more as every day that I get up and I work towards my goals, I'm kind of embracing that challenge, flexing whatever talents I have, getting better at what I'm doing, instead of every day that I don't somehow like miraculously make $1 million fall out of the sky, I failed. I think we could enjoy the journey a lot more. So
100%. I really hope that people listen to this and really put it towards their own, journey across Fiji. That's all we're doing here in this life.
totally, right?
I really truly hopefully, hope that all of you guys who are listening really take this to heart and understand that like it doesn't matter how far you are in comparison to anybody else. They might be looking at you and thinking the exact same thing. Like, I wish that I could be as far as they are, and something like let's just help and support each other versus, well, I got to be better than them or farther than them, or I'm failing if I'm not, I just think it's so awesome that we all have so much to learn from each other to better ourselves.
Yeah. And there is enough stuff in the world. Like one of my good girlfriends who has really, her career has really taken off. She keeps reminding me that if someone has more than you, it doesn't mean that you have to have less, There's not.
I'm going to make t-shirts of all of these things that you're saying.
Perfect. We'll just listen to it back. We'll see. Now we'll have this recorded to remind ourselves. So when I wake up on the wrong side of the bed and have a really bad day, I'll be like, Morgan, you said all these inspirational things. Like,
yes.
Sometimes I do read my own Instagram account to feel better about my life.
Yes, ma'am. That's why I'm there. Yes.
I inspire myself.
Yes. It's easy to forget sometimes.
But yes, if we can all kind of remind ourselves that there is enough in the world, it's a matter of kind of connecting the pieces and finding the mix and the wherewithal that kind of works for you and your situation and what your needs are or whatever. And again, that's not to say that it's easy or discount, the struggles that all of us are going through, but to be hopeful at the end of the day, because the world has been around for a long time and there's more people, not less people in it. So that can make things harder, but it also means that somehow as humans, we are thriving. So
that's beautiful. I love that. And I love that you've set this step up challenge to kind of organize some of these goals for us, you said it was business, finance, mental, spiritual, and what was the health and physical health.
Like physical health, well-being. Yeah.
And so where can people go to sign up for this? And like, what will they expect? Are there any incentives to signing up?
Well, yes, we always try to incentivize things because who doesn't like a little prize? But you can just go to beyondthetrend.com and there's kind of, there's a light box that'll pop up with a button that says you can go straight to the Step Up September Challenge, or you can just go to the homepage. It lives on the homepage, so you'll get there either way, really easy. We're Beyond the Trend Marketing on Facebook and Beyond the Trend Branding on Instagram. So you can find us either of those places. And if you want to sign up for emails, then we'll make sure that all the content gets delivered to you at least once a week or twice a week so that you kind of just have it all in your inbox and then you can read it when you have time and refer back to it. Or you can stalk us on the social medias as well. So we're trying to post everything there. And would love it if people would kind of share what are some things that they're hoping to step up in. What are just some small things that you're kind of, I'm working on getting healthier physically. Quarantine's been rough, or I'm trying to let myself have more mental breaks. The kids have been crazy, whatever that is, and then I would love to have kind of, as you said, a little bit more of a community, a little bit more support for each other, to give each other those pats on the back and those high fives. Because like really you can't discount those very small steps. I have a girlfriend who, like me, has been through some like pretty horrific hospital surgeries and stuff like that. And we're the same age and we actually grew up together. So unfortunately, it's ironic that like we now share this like health struggle journey. But like, so sometimes we'll call each other and be like, like when I was sick and recovering from my hospitalization last year, we would call each other and be like, so guess what? I took a shower today. And then the other one would be like, oh my gosh, good for you. Now you don't have to take one for like 3 days. Great job. So like, it's dumb, but just having, again, finding your support system or your network who will give you a pat on the back for the little things and not chastise you when you're not doing more, because there's probably plenty of people in your circle who do that. We won't name names or anything.
No, not at all. We're not going to call people out, but you know, we're already hard enough on ourselves. Like, we don't need to be surrounding ourselves with people who are also going to be hard on us too. I mean, well, there's a difference between people being hard on us. I have a very like eclectic or like a big variety of friends, like group of friends. And there is a friend that I go to when I need some tough love and I need someone to be like, hello, snap out of it. Like, you can do this. I need a friend who's just going to listen to me and tell me everything I want to hear. I have a friend who's going to like come grab me from my house and be like, hey, we're going to go out and we're going to have some fun today. Like, I think that's important too, you know? So it's good that if you have friends who push and motivate you, but to criticize and just be hard on you, I could do that myself. I don't need you to do that for me.
Right.
You know,
right.
so
yeah.
Community and a support system is like absolutely number one. And having people around you that you can trust is just, it's awesome. I love it.
Like you're in my circle.
Oh, thank you. I'm so happy that we have like created this friendship over the last couple of years. It's just been awesome knowing you. And I'm really looking forward to like seeing what more I can learn from Step Up September. I signed up for it this morning. So sent you my email. I'm ready to go. I know that there's a hashtag that we're using on Instagram. Is that right?
Yes. Hashtag Step Up BTT, which of course stands for Beyond the Trend. So we will search, if you post anything with the hashtag, we'll search it. And then anybody who posts using the hashtag will be entered to win our prize pack, which includes some Starbucks gift cards, because what is life without coffee? A bunch of books from our favorite gurus like Lewis Howes and Gary Vee and some of those dudes. And then just some different like notebooks and like planner journals and things like that to kind of help you write down all your thoughts and steps and goals to keep it moving, because it's really just kind of a step up and get started month, right? And then the rest of our lives are ahead of us. So we don't get to just be like, well, you know, I stepped it up for like 2 weeks. That was cool. So even if you're listening to this later in September and you want to go ahead and sign up, we're going to still be doing like a monthly newsletter with, again, not just tips from us, because we're not pretending to be the experts, but shared resources of, you know, other people's blogs and lists and podcasts that are doing cool things, which is why I'm super glad that we have you kind of being a part of it. Can I share just one quick story about you before we go?
Oh my gosh, maybe.
Okay, well, you can.
I'm ready. I won't look.
Cut it out if you don't like it. But so I had met Liz when we were looking to hire, and I think it was on Facebook. I posted something on Facebook of, you know, what we were looking for, whatever. And Liz came in for an interview and I really liked her, but somebody else who interviewed just had like so much experience and I had such a tiny budget, I couldn't afford both. So I was going to hire the other person, and Liz reached out to me because she hadn't heard back from me yet. And she was like, you know, hey, like, any news yet? And I was like, oh, like, I don't want to tell her no, but like, I can't afford them both. And like, what do our clients need like right this second? And then she reached out to me again and I was like, ugh, this chick again. And she was like, so hey, I totally understand if it doesn't work out, but I just wanted to let you know it was great to meet you. And even if I could, you know, kind of learn from you in the future, or maybe just like pick your brain as I like kind of continue working on like my career and all that stuff, I would really appreciate it. And I was like, oh my gosh, like what a great attitude. And of course I would be happy to like sit down with her for hours and share, you know, whatever I can to kind of help keep her moving. And then I like had this random thought and I was like, what if she was kind of like an intern and she could come, because like I love to help and encourage people to learn, just to learn in general. But like if I've learned anything over the years, like I'm very, very happy to like share that knowledge with other people so we can speed up their journey a little bit. So anyway, that if Liz had not kind of harassed me on Facebook, then we would not have met. We would not have this amazing friendship. And she seriously is such a light to my Instagram feed and our office whenever she's here, and just whenever she and I have a little like texty chat. So again, those kind of random encounters, and if you put yourself out there, you kind of just never know.
That's exactly
and now
it.
we're helping her build a website to launch like a new business. So
oh, who, me? What?
yeah, stay tuned. That cool thing's coming. You want to self-promo yourself a little there?
Yeah. Oh, I've already done it. If you go listen to like every other podcast, I'm like, by the way, I have a website.
No, but you have to include it in this one, because I'm going to share this with our followers too.
I absolutely will. So I am going to be launching very, very soon Real Talk Redheads self-care on purpose self-care boxes. So I have 3 different tiers of self-care boxes that I want to create for anybody who needs to work on their self-care and they just don't know how to do it. A lot of what kind of inspired me to do these are when I would talk to people about what their self-care looks like, they would say, oh, I don't really have time, or, like, I don't really like have the tools. I don't know what to buy for myself. I hate shopping for myself. And I hate shopping for myself, but I love shopping for other people. So I thought, why not share some of my favorite self-care tools in like one box, one-stop shop. You can either get the traveler's kit, which are like, obviously travel sized or sample sized items. If you don't really want to commit to something huge, but you're kind of like on the go and just want, a little something for yourself. I have
perfect to throw in the purse or something like that too, because like it's small.
Yeah, absolutely. And then the second one is the Redhead's Picks, which is like my kind of like main like classic box. And that one is going to be all of my own personal favorite items that I use regularly, whether it be daily or weekly. And then I have a custom box where if you want to be able to choose exactly kind of what you want in your box, what your self-care routine looks like, you can answer a little questionnaire and tell me like what your favorite scents are, and like, are you more like of an active person, or are you more of like a spa pampering person? And then I will physically go shop for items that fit like what you're looking for. So
you're like a self-care concierge.
I like that. Some verbiage I might put on the website.
All right, do it. I'll bill you later.
Put it on my tab.
That's right.
So yeah, did I miss anything? I think I got it all.
Yeah, I think we covered everything. And yes, like Liz said, everything's going to be available in the description, but we're just at beyondthethrend.com, and then that's got links to all of our social media. So that's pretty easy. And then we've got a chat bot, and my email and phone number and everything are on there. You can always text to set up a time to chat if there's anything that you kind of want to delve more into, or you have more questions about anything that we've talked about today or what's on our website. So super easy to reach.
And if you guys aren't, you guys might be thinking like, well, I don't need to brand myself. I don't need marketing. I don't have a business or anything like that. Still check out the website because, as we said before, we're doing Step Up September. So, we all have goals that we're working towards. It doesn't have to be entrepreneurial or anything like that. But you can really learn a lot from everything on Beyond the Trend. And then just follow Morgan and follow the Instagram because she's the cutest and they have like the best photos, and I'm super jealous of them because
whatever, shut up.
So
yes, we would love to be Instagram friends. Come hang out with us on the gram.
Please do.
We'll all be positive together.
Absolutely. I am still so incredibly happy and excited that we did this, and I can't wait to like edit immediately and make sure everything sounds good, and then I'll send it your way. And if you guys have any questions, any feedback, don't forget, hit either one of us up. Everything's going to be in the description down below, so you don't have no excuses on, well, I didn't know how to get a hold of you, because it's going to be all right there. Right. So anything else you want to add, Morgan?
I'm good. Thank you. Thank you so much for letting me be here and join.
Yes, thank you. And I will look forward to talking to you later. And guys, thanks for listening. I love you, and it's a great day to have a great day. So let's make it a good one.
Bye, guys.
Hey, I'm still working in here.
It's recording. It's happening. This is a thing. Okay.
This is a thing. We're doing it.
It's happening. All right, so now I click on this link.
As long as you're ready. Do you want me to give you a brief overview of what I have so far?
Yes, I'm really trying to follow your lead and not like have my own agenda too much. So,
Well, so I already recorded the introduction to the podcast, and basically most of my intros are like I give a little like recap of last week's episode to talk about how my week has been, that kind of thing that I'm thinking of. So I did all that, and then when I did the introduction to you, all I said was your name. I said that you were the owner of Beyond the Trend in Vero, that I interned for you at the end of 2018, and that you have some exciting plans for like taking back 2020. And that's
awesome.
basically all I said. I didn't want to talk about it too much because I wanted to leave it up to you to like, I figure we can start out where I'll say hello and then say, why don't you introduce yourself a little bit more in detail. You can say like how you started Beyond the Trend or whatever you want, and then get right into the Step Up September chat. So
Okay.
you can talk
Do
as
you
little
feel
or as much
like
as you want.
your people who listen to this are kind of more entrepreneurs or more kind of like mental health people or more just kind of people who know you and therefore like to tune in?
I think the majority of them are people that know me. I don't have a huge like fan base yet. My analytics say that I have people that are listening to me in like Australia and Ireland. And I always say in my episodes like, hey, if you don't know me personally, I would love to know how you found me. So be sure to shoot me a DM. I want to know more about you. And I haven't gotten any of those.
Okay.
But I do know a lot of people who have given me feedback that I personally know talk about mental health a lot and how I've been able to give them ideas on like how to navigate, kind of work through things that they're experiencing.
Okay.
So yeah, I think it's more on that side. I don't know a ton of them that are super like entrepreneurial.
Okay. Well, we'll try and keep this like pretty broad because that was kind of like the whole point of this is that it basically can apply to everybody. So, but I'm also happy because I'm going to share this on all my platforms for us to talk a little bit about kind of like how you started the Real Talk Redhead and kind of like what you're helping people do kind of through your brand and channel in terms of like taking back their self-care, self-love, mental wellness journey, all that stuff too.
Awesome.
So, all right, I was just trying to log into my, I guess I could do it on my computer, but then that might get messy.
Whatever is easiest for you.
I'm so disorganized. It's my first podcast. I'm sorry.
No, it's awesome. This is really.
I'm figuring it out. I'm a bad guest. So not prepared. Okay. I wanted to pull up the Beyond the Trend Facebook in case I need to like check what we've been posting and stuff like that for the challenge and everything. So okay, that's there. And then I was gonna get my lipstick. And then I promise I'm ready. Okay. Where'd you go? Liz? Hello?
Much. Wow.
Oh my gosh, look at that. See, no need to be jealous of studio lights when you can flip your chair around and use the sunshine.
Yeah, I really think I may just redo this setup, and then if Nate really I just didn't know that I loved having the kitchen as my background, but I don't suppose that matters much.
It's cute. It's like a cute little kitchen. Are your cabinets like light blue?
No, they're white.
Oh, all
You can
right.
see all my thousands of coffee mugs up there. There's a whole row behind those too.
That's funny. The coffee is what makes the world go round.
Addiction.
Are you able to sit any lower or no?
No, but I can probably raise the computer a little bit. This is as low as the chair goes, I think. Pretty sure, yeah. A little bit more. Okay, we feeling good about this?
Yeah, I think so. I'm gonna sit up straight in my torture device over here.
She's got the best posture in the business, everybody. Here's Morgan.
Don't ask me for posture tips. If nothing else, do not.
Hashtag posture goals 2020.
I went to go get a massage the other day and the masseuse is like, you really need to work on strengthening your back muscles. Otherwise you're gonna have a humpback. And I'm like, yes, I'm aware.
Thanks, Mom.
Basically like a camel over here. It's fine.
Okay. Let me. I'm gonna send you a new link because I closed out my app when in the internet debacle. But otherwise, I think we're ready. I'm ready if you are.
Okay, this is happening.
Yay.
Right. Send me the new linkage and
Sending.
let me just grab my water too. I've got all the coffee going. Okay. I feel like there's a meme in here somewhere, like, how long does it take two chicks to start a podcast? When mostly it's one chick's fault.
No. And then the internet, and then everything.
And then the internet, and then all the things. Okay, so are you able to kind of hear my levels when I go ahead and click to this?
I think so, yeah. And then as soon as you click it, it'll show me that you've joined, and I'm just gonna say, hey Morgan, how are you? Thank you for coming, and we'll just get kind of right into it from there.
Oh my gosh, it's so much pressure. Okay.
It's okay. No stress. And if at any time you're just like, I need a minute to stop and pause and breathe, or collect my whatever, totally
yeah,
easy
that's
to
true.
edit everything. So
it's true, it's not live. The last thing like this I did was live, which is why I didn't sleep for 3 days because
I was really nervous when I did my face mask Friday live, or 2 Fridays ago or whatever it was, because that was the second live I had ever done. The first one was a long time ago. But I just kind of acted like I was hanging out with my friends, and if they thought I was silly, well then I am silly. So
be it. Yes. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and click join, and let's just make sure there's no feedback or anything.
Hello.
Oh, that's not gonna work. That's gonna echo.
Oh no. Okay.
All right, I'm sorry. Let's start it one more time. I'm gonna get my headphones.
Okay. I went ahead and sent you a new link because I think once you exit the recording,
Yes.
it has to generate a new one. So,
All right, go back. All right. All right, so hopefully this works. Feels so old school not using like AirPods like the cool kids.
same.
Okay, here we go. Hello, testing.